you come with me and spend the night? Just a little.
Hello everyone, my name is Alexia Doge and welcome back to my YouTube channel. I'm so sorry that I haven't been on YouTube for a while. I've honestly been dealing with a whole bunch of life events that I haven't really had that much control over, and that required me to basically take a break from doing what I love. But I am happy that I have a bit more time to be able to interact with you guys, and kind of bring out new content, show you what I've been kind of investing in, and the products that I have basically fallen in love with. I also want to use the opportunity to basically tell you a little bit about what's been going on in my life. So yeah. So I have moved recently. I can't really say where, but I am very happy about that. The transition has kind of been taking a lot of, should I say, time and energy away from me, which is part of the reason why I haven't been able to come on YouTube as much. But I am happy to say I am in a bit more of a stable position, which is why I'm able to, basically come back to YouTube. So I wanted to see if I could do a quick get ready with me. I'm basically going to be getting ready to go to work. I already have my outfit down. I really just want to kind of do very quick everyday makeup, and basically take you guys along with me. Okay, so this might be the best, I'm hoping. So I just want to go ahead and start with my makeup routine. So the first thing I did was I pretty much put on a bit of moisturizer. I currently use the Vanny Cream moisturizer. And honestly, it's been helping my skin a lot. I have naturally dry skin, so it's very hard to find a product that really, holds in moisture for me. But I do really like that product. It's hypoallergenic. It's a thicker consistency than most lotions, which I appreciate because that means the moisture won't be evaporating from my skin over the day. And because of how moisturizing it is, I'm able to use the primer that I use without it completely stripping my skin. So currently I use the Rimmel Stay Matte Primer, which is what I'm putting on my face right now. I try to, put a lot right here in my T-zone, because if I do get oily over the day, it usually tends to happen right in the middle of my face, and usually when I'm on my cycle. Okay, so I'm gonna go in with my beauty blender, or my Real Techniques beauty sponge. And I'm gonna go ahead and, let's see. Okay, I'm gonna do something different today. Usually I would go in with my foundation first. Actually, okay, so I am gonna go ahead and highlight first. Usually I would put my foundation on first, but I tend to notice that this does make my routine a lot faster and a lot more convenient for me, especially when I'm going to work. So what I've started doing, I pretty much put a bit of highlighter right over here, down my nose, on the sides, and then I tend to take it up here, but I try not to take it too high, because I'm not trying to bring emphasis to any of my dark circles. If anything, I'm trying to cover those dark circles, and kind of lift my face. So I do this to kind of give myself a bit of a lifting effect. So I'll just put a little bit over there. And this doesn't have to be perfect. Like I said, this is just rushed. makeup routine. So I basically put in these areas to help me contour. It just makes things a lot easier for me. So I put it down the bridge of my nose, just a little bit on my forehead because I don't want to make my forehead look too wide. I put it right here on my chin, and it does help. I don't typically put over here. I like to highlight with my my highlight powder or my, what is it? Yeah, I'll just say my Laura Mercier translucent setting powder. So I'm gonna go ahead and blend this out. Before I do that, I'm gonna spray this with some water. Get that one. Okay, so I've gone ahead and wet my beauty blender. Now I'm just gonna go ahead and highlight over here. But as I'm doing this, I did want to talk about a topic that's been very controversial, but at the same time hits very close to home. And it's gonna be family toxicity. I don't usually talk too much about things that go on with my family, mainly because there's this idea that when things happen around you, that you should basically be silent and be protective, especially as a woman. You know, you want to have your family's best interests at heart. But how far do you take that? Even when you know that that toxicity isn't really going away, isn't really getting better, and it's just seeping into, you know, your upbringing. Now, I'm gonna speak for myself, mainly. I am the firstborn of my household. I've seen a lot of things that I've basically had to be quiet about or humble about in order to protect my family name. Now, at the end of the day, like, that's a given for me. Like, if I love my family members, that's gonna be my natural instinct, is gonna be to protect them. But how much protection can you give when you're the person going through certain things? You don't really get that same treatment in return. I'm not gonna go too far into like personal details, but I will say that with being strong and being protective of my family members, I have gone through a lot of neglect. And this is not to curse anyone out. It's just, you know, basically sharing my experience. I've been through a lot of manipulation with specific family members. All that stems from, you know, things that happened when I was a kid. But I'm guessing that abuse and neglect really poured over to, you know, the rest of my family members, and to how they ended up, you know, seeing the world or viewing the world and then treating me. In the absence of, you know, a healthy family dynamic. Let me say that. So I bring this up to say part of the reason for my move in the first place was because I just didn't feel like I was in a healthy family dynamic. And I started to notice how that environment started to affect the way I viewed myself. Started to affect the way started to affect my self-confidence and the things that, I viewed as available to me. I felt restricted. I felt limited. I felt like I couldn't make healthy decisions for myself without, hurting other people's feelings or other people trying to sabotage those decisions. And I honestly just got to a point where I felt like if I didn't leave, then I would never grow as a person. And ultimately, I have to take some accountability for a lot of these things that happen. Because I did realize that at some point I was, a bit comfortable, or I was choosing to stay in that toxic cycle. And that wasn't healthy for me. I would complain, but at the same time, I would try to make it work because of the love that I had for family. But again, none of that was ever reciprocated. The most I can say that was ever done for me, and I will give my parents credit for that, is giving me a roof over my head, which I appreciate, I'm grateful for, because I acknowledge that not a lot of people have that. Not a lot of people have that foundation to where, they can say they have a stable home environment and they can grow, or they can, where they can stay, or they can live. A lot of people don't have a roof over their heads. So I do acknowledge that that's a blessing that God has brought into my life. But to say that I was happy in that environment, I wasn't. Because every day I would pretty much have one complaint or the other about how people were treating me, about how much they didn't value anything that I brought to the table, about how much they would put me down because of certain things not going right in my life. But they would neglect to do the work to help me or to push me to making those changes. They would also not acknowledge the effort I was putting into helping myself. It would almost be as if, as soon as I started to grow, it would threaten someone else's, livelihood or someone else's self-worth. And I had to stop letting that affect me, because like I said, in as much as, I love my family, how am I supposed to get to a place where I can say I can give or I can help if I myself I'm not stable in my own person or in my own environment? So for me, that's what mainly basically make the decision to move. I will say this as well. I did have a car accident a few weeks ago. Very recent, but someone basically hit my car and completely totaled it. And when that happened, the accident was so bad that I literally almost died. But I'm grateful to be here. I honestly don't know how I survived that accident. So it did make me reevaluate a lot of things in my life. As soon as the accident happened, the people that I thought would be there for me, again, I think I go through this cycle of expecting things from, family or people that have shown me time and time and again that they're not there for me and they won't be there for me. They've told me to my face, actually. But this just showed me how much they just did not care about my well-being. So as soon as the accident happened, like I said, it did make me reevaluate a lot of things in my life. I did go through thoughts of, so that's how, let me just say, I'm Nigerian, so I'm going to say it like this. That's how I would have gone through, that's how I would have lost my life at this age without doing anything substantial, living in such a toxic environment to where I haven't done anything that I can say I can be proud of. If anything, it was just people taking and taking and taking and leaving my cup empty. So I will say this, if you're at my age or if you are in your 20s, and you're going through anything similar, and as much as it may be hard, you know, with all the life factors surrounding you, to make a decision that might potentially put you at risk, but at the same time change your life for the better. If you're thinking about taking that risk to better yourself, I say do it. I say don't limit yourself. I say make the choices that you yourself will be happy with in the long run. Because at the end of the day, like, human beings are innately selfish. Human beings only think about the things that benefit them. So if you yourself don't make yourself a priority, no one else is going to prioritize your happiness as much as you do for yourself. I'm not saying don't care about family members. I'm not saying, you know, don't help out, you know, when you can. What I am saying is don't help to the point where you're pouring from an empty cup. Help from a point where you can do for yourself without putting yourself at risk. And you can pour from a full cup, knowing that you're happy and you're not left stranded, and you can make other people happy. Don't neglect yourself trying to, you know, help other people out of their negative feelings or their negative thoughts about themselves. But I'm gonna cut, you know, this little conversation short, and I'm basically gonna talk about other things that are going on right now. So I am currently job hunting. I do have a job, but I do want something that pays a lot better. I feel like everyone already knows, like, what's going on with this economy. It's been tough for a lot of people. I'm sorry, guys. I am looking for my angle brush and I can't find it, and I really want to do my brows. I don't want this video to be too long. You know, that's why I'm kind of trying to speed it through. Let me see. Give me 1 second. I'll find it. It's in here somewhere. I just need to look. There we go. Oh, and if anyone needs information about any of the brushes that I'm using, I will go ahead and leave links down below. I typically do like Morphe brushes, but I know they can be on the expensive side. So I will go ahead and put a link for a dupe that I've been using that's been amazing on my skin. Also, I will mention I do have sensitive skin. So if you're like me and you're looking for something that doesn't break you out or isn't too harsh on your skin, then I do think this would be a viable and a perfect option for you. Right now, I'm going in with my Urban Decay The Brow Box palette in Brown Sugar. I love this palette. It's funny because I actually used to use my Anastasia, sorry, I start to talk with my braces sometimes. Anastasia Beverly Hills palette in chocolate. And I used to love that brow gel. I still do, actually. But I would typically use it and go over my brows. Kind of like this. And then I would use the brown powder from this palette that I'm talking about, the Urban Decay palette, and go over that. And that would help me set it for like the whole day. But you know what I didn't realize, and this is crazy. I just stumbled on it like one day. I didn't realize that this bottom part of the palette actually has a clear wax. So you pretty much take a little bit of that, go over your brows, and it acts like, you know, wax eyebrow gel. And you go over the, like you can see I basically hit pan on this, but go over it with the darker shade, basically to define the brows. And then if you wanted to soften it a little bit, you could go in with this shade. So I typically use that for either the beginning of my brows or the ends. And that, like I said, just to soften it so it doesn't look like I have crazy, like big brows. As you can see, I try to get like a little angle. I try not to get that too thick. And I just follow the natural shape of my brow. And I'm gonna do the same thing for the other brow. So as I'm doing this, I'm just thinking, the car accident I was in just made me really grateful, grateful because I know that, like I said, I could have lost my life in the accident, but it made me realize that, God definitely has a plan for my life. If he didn't, I wouldn't be here. He wouldn't have protected me the way he did, during that accident. And it just made me feel like, if I don't go out there and take control of my life, take control of the things that happen to me, I would never grow to be the person I want to become. I would let other people continue to make decisions that are detrimental to me and to my future. I would also let other people place more importance on others and devalue me. And I realized that I was letting that seep into my spirit. And it was unhealthy, extremely unhealthy. I even started becoming unhealthy. And that's not the kind of person I am. I started going through, phases of thinking, okay, I must be so horrible, for my family to be treating me in that way. But I do want to say, if you're ever feeling like that, don't let other people's opinions of you change how you view yourself. Because ultimately, it's only your thoughts or your view of yourself that matters. It really is. The world can paint you to be the worst person, ever if they wanted to. But as long as you stay true to who you are, nothing can faze you. And like I said, it took me a while to get to that position, but I'm glad I did. Even with friendships, funny enough, not to say that everyone's bad. We're not all perfect. People fall short. People have their feelings. People have their flaws. And, you accept them with their flaws. But like I said, as long as those flaws or the people you're allowing around you don't manipulate or change your view of yourself, who you are innately, always stay true to yourself. And, life only gets better from there. So I've pretty much done my brows. I'm gonna go ahead and go in with my LA Girl Pro Conceal in Fawn. And I'm gonna go in with this brush. I would usually use a flatter brush, but I like this because it gives me more flexibility when I'm going over my brows. If I was going out, going on a night out, like on a date or something, I would definitely use a brighter color. But I do realize that for work or just for corporate America in general, it is always better to go more subtle when it comes to makeup. Okay, so with this, I try not to go too high with the concealer because I notice when you first put it on, if you have a lot of products, it can be a little bit hard to blend out at the base. So I do that pretty much, and then I just try to sculpt it to give my brow that arch. Then I tend to just use the flat side and blend it from the base. This is usually a lot easier in front of the mirror, but I'm doing it like this so you guys can kind of see how I go through my makeup. So bear with me if it's not perfect. I'm still getting used to my transition, and I'm still trying to get all my equipment from back home. I'm hoping that's not a struggle for me. Again, I told you, I do go through a lot of issues with family, but like I said, I don't have the bandwidth or the patience anymore. I'm hoping that I don't lose out on any more of my property or equipment. But if I do, then at some point I'll accept it. It's okay. I'm just praying that, you know, I can acquire more and I can release those things that I used to value or that I value to the universe and open myself up to new and to better. That's my view on life. I'm no longer letting things that I can't control affect me. I'm no longer overthinking my life. If there's any resistance to anything that I want, then I just know that that's not something God has, you know, destined for me. Sorry, this is just my little rant, but these are things I've been thinking about, and I just haven't had, you know, anyone to really talk to about it. But I'm glad I do have my little family here on YouTube. I know we're still growing, we're still small, but I do value everyone that, you know, has tuned in to watch me in recent years. You guys are the reason I do what I do. You know, I do love all these things, and I love being able to share it with this community, YouTube community. I actually interact more on YouTube than I do on other social media platforms. But I will start to do that very soon. Okay, so as you can see, they're not perfect, but brows are supposed to be sisters, not twin sisters, but sisters. There we go. Like I said, not perfect, but good enough for work. Alright, so I'm gonna stop because one thing I realize is if you do too much with your brows, you can tend to mess it up, and I'm not trying to mess it up right now. I'm trying to keep them as is or work. It's good enough for me to get there and be happy with it. Okay, so Now what I'm gonna do is I am going to contour a little bit. I did use a little bit earlier. Like I said, usually if I was going for like a night out or something, I would basically do like a full face. I would use cream and liquid products all over. But so far I haven't done that. I've pretty much just used my Sleek palette. This is actually my favorite palette ever, my favorite contour palette. I've used higher end palettes, but I really don't like how the color payoff is on me. You know, I feel like this is a perfect shade for my skin tone. So right now I'm just gonna go in with my contour brush, and that's gonna help me define this a little bit. Actually, let me see. So I just want to show you what I'm doing. So I'm almost hitting pan on this as well, but I basically just tap that and I do this. Don't mind how I look, but just to get the shape of my cheekbones. And I try to keep it in this little space over here. I take this up to my forehead, and you can see that I just use a very light tapping motion. And I tend to stop right over there, right underneath my cheekbone. But that gives the illusion that the contour is basically extended all the way to the middle of my cheeks and down to my mouth. I also take some of that product and go right around my chin, right at the bottom. And this will help, you know, if you ever have any issues with weight. I know I do. My weight tends to fluctuate a lot. Depends on my hormones, my cycle, all of that, and how much I'm eating. I do go below my chin, and then right over here, right by my ears, down to the base of my neck. And I use that to contour all these areas. What I'm gonna do next is I'm gonna use the same brush. And this just gives a very nice blush style color. And I use a little bit of the product, the contour product I just used, and my MAC blush in Peach Twist, one of my favorite colors. This and Raisin, amazing. But you can see, like, I'm literally hidden pan on majority of my products. And then I just follow that same technique and come here right at the top of my cheekbones. And this just brings a little bit of color back to my face. I don't like too much of defined blusher. I feel like this pretty much looks perfect. So usually this is a step I would do before all of this. I just happen to skip it or forget about it in this aspect or in this instance. But I'm gonna go ahead and go in with my MAC Mineralized Skin Finish in dark. And I love this face powder because it basically just helps my makeup blend together very nicely. It gives a blended look to where I don't have any harsh lines around my face. And to me, it doesn't really matter when I use it because it's not overwhelming. It's not like using the MAC Studio Fix powder, like foundation powder. This is just, you know, a nice blur to all the harsh lines I have around my face. And it just fills in all the areas that I haven't put any product on. So I'll typically just take on all the areas around here. Not too much on the places that I've highlighted and contoured. Just to fill in places that don't have foundation or makeup. Again, typically I would do this step if I had used like a liquid foundation or like a cream foundation just to set it. But as you can see, this is just pretty quick makeup, so I didn't use it on, I didn't use any like cream or liquid products for this. Okay, so this is how my makeup is looking so far. I'm just gonna go in with my spoolie, and I'm gonna use that to blend out the top of my brows, just to make that a bit more natural, and to help shape it and help it go in the direction that I want it to go. And again, this is just to help blend out any harshness. You know, you don't want to go anywhere kind of looking like a clown or looking like you didn't really take your time, you know, doing the things that you need to do. You can see how much of a difference that makes right here. I'm gonna try and get that right here. Talking about all this, so for my Nigerian community, I miss Nigeria so much. And honestly, home is home. But I've been hearing about so many heartbreaking things on social media. Like, I get that the country is hard, but I just don't understand the amount of violence that's been going on recently. Like, I know that, you know, the president and the economy is in disarray right now, but the fact that we're having violence in between states, violence based on gender, violence in so many different aspects makes me very uneasy about going back. Like, I want to go back for vacation. I literally just want to see, you know, friends and people I haven't seen in such a long time. I want to enjoy the environment because, again, home is home. I miss it. But again, it makes me very uneasy, you know, wanting to go back, knowing that, you know, I may be putting myself at risk. And I've never had this thought about home before. I've never had this thought about Nigeria before. Nigeria has always been a beautiful country to me. But the fact that I can't even feel confident about being at home just, it breaks my heart. But yeah, that's my little chit chat for this morning. As you can see, I'm pretty much done with my makeup. I'm gonna go ahead and put on some lashes, and then I'm gonna line my eyes and put on some lip gloss or lipstick. Typically I wouldn't use lashes, I would use mascara. I just, again, don't have all my products with me, so we're making do right now. I'm looking for ways to find joy. If I don't, you know, I'm gonna let, you know, trauma and all that eat away at me. It's not worth it. It's not. Life can be beautiful. You just have to make that beautiful for yourself. And I truly believe that. Okay, so people typically like to line before doing your lashes. I'm gonna line after because sometimes your glue can take off all the work that you did to put on the lashes. Okay. Why? Is this the time I want to lose my tweezers? Like, Why do this to me? Why do this to me? Oh, there we go. Okay, so I found my tweezers. I do have better ones, I just can't find them. So let me make do with what we have. Okay, so I'm gonna use these lashes. And I believe these are just some regular demi-wispies. Again, I'm gonna be in a corporate environment, so I don't want anything too crazy for work. So I learned how to do my lashes in high school. It's been so long since, you know, I watched that video. But her technique, I wish I could remember the video, but her technique was literally the best thing to teach me how to do lashes. It was literally just, you know, focusing majority of the glue that you put on here on the corners of your lashes. So the 3 corners, right here, the other side, right there, and right in the middle. And once you do that, applying the lashes becomes a lot easier. I'm gonna pause this, put them on, and come back because, like I said, I don't have a mirror and I don't want to poke my eye out. So, thank you. So this is the finished look, guys. I didn't really do much. I pretty much just put on my lashes, and as you can see, I basically just lined my waterline right from there over here. Also, for my lips, I did a very small lip combo. I used the Fenty Beauty lip cream in Mauve Wives. And it's such a gorgeous color. This is from their new collection. I like this one and the Fenty Beauty Heat collection. If you're looking for like beautiful browns or nudes or mauves, this is a very good one to look into. So I just put a little bit of this, which gave me the pink base. And then I used the Topshop lipstick in Naturist. So this I'm in love with. It's a very nice nude. It is more on the gray side, which I like if you're using it in the middle of your lips or trying to get more of an ombre effect. So I pretty much just use this one all over my lips, and I use this, just a little bit of this right in the middle, and it gave me this lovely color. So thank you so much for sticking through this video with me, and I hope that, you know, I can continue to grow with you guys on my channel. I hope that you continue to like, share, subscribe, and watch my videos. And I'll see you on the next one. Bye, guys.